Welcome to Lit with Ernest, the show where we cut through the noise and get to the heart of great books. Written in 1747, when Washington was just 14 years old, Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior is a collection of 110 maxims that outline how to behave in polite society. These rules were based on a French book of etiquette, but Washington adapted them to fit the colonial American experience. This work not only reflects the social norms of its time, but also reveals the values and principles that would guide Washington's life and leadership. In terms of literary background, Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior relates to the tradition of conduct literature, which aimed to teach people how to behave in a morally upright and socially acceptable manner. This genre was popular in the 18th century, with authors like Lord Chesterfield and Jean-Jacques Rousseau writing about etiquette, manners, and character development. Washington's work is significant because it shows how these European ideas were adapted and applied in an American context. Rule 1. Every action done in company ought to be done with some sign of respect to those that are present, highlights the importance of considering others in social interactions. This rule is not just about etiquette, it's also about empathy and self-awareness. By being mindful of how our actions affect others, we can build stronger relationships and create a more harmonious community. Another interesting rule is number 22, which warns against undue ceremony and reminds us that true character is revealed in our actions, not just our words. This rule speaks to the tension between appearance and reality, a theme that appears in many American literary works, from Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter to F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. By emphasizing the importance of authenticity and sincerity, Washington's rule encourages us to look beyond surface-level appearances and cultivate deeper, more meaningful connections with others. Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior has had a lasting impact on American culture, shaping our understanding of etiquette, social norms, and civic virtue. For example, the idea that true character is revealed in actions, not just words, is reflected in the self-help literature of authors like Dale Carnegie and Stephen Covey. Similarly, the emphasis on respect, empathy, and self-awareness can be seen in contemporary discussions around emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, and community building. One of the most striking aspects of Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior is its emphasis on personal responsibility and moral integrity. Washington's rules encourage us to reflect on our own behavior, consider how our actions affect others, and strive for self-improvement. This theme resonates throughout American literature, from the transcendentalism of Ralph Waldo Emerson to the existentialism of Ernest Hemingway. In terms of cultural impact, Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior has influenced not only literature, but also politics, education, and social movements. For instance, the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s drew on the idea of civic virtue and moral responsibility, emphasizing the importance of nonviolent resistance, respect for others, and personal dignity. Similarly, contemporary initiatives around character education, social-emotional learning, and community engagement reflect the values and principles outlined in Washington's rules. How do we balance individual freedom with social responsibility? And how can we cultivate the empathy, self-awareness, and moral integrity that Washington's rules embody? That's all for today's Lit with Ernest. Like this episode if it hit true. Share it if you respect honest talk about books. Subscribe, because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.